Document Part 1. The sky over Washington, D.C., darkened as a massive object descended from the heavens. It wasn't a storm or a meteorite, it was something far more extraordinary. A sleek, silver spacecraft hovered silently above the city, its surface shimmering like liquid metal under the pale sunlight. The streets below were eerily quiet, with people frozen in place, staring upward. Some clutched their phones, recording the event, while others held their loved ones tightly, unsure of what would happen next. Inside the Pentagon, officials scrambled to make sense of the situation. Emergency meetings had been underway for hours, since radar first detected the unidentified craft entering Earth's atmosphere. Military jets circled the ship cautiously, but didn't fire. No one wanted to provoke an attack without knowing the intentions of the visitors. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the bottom of the spacecraft opened slowly, revealing a bright light. From it emerged a figure unlike anything humanity had ever seen. The alien was tall and slender, with smooth blue skin that glowed faintly in the daylight. Its large almond-shaped eyes scanned the crowd below with an expression that seemed worried. Behind him stood two humans: Alex Carter, a seasoned diplomat known for his calm demeanor, and Laura Bennett, a sharp-witted scientist who specialized in extraterrestrial communication. They had been aboard the ship for days, negotiating with this being they now called Zorvath. Zorvath stepped forward, flanked by Alex and Laura, moving toward a podium set up hastily in front of the United Nations building. Cameras clicked furiously, capturing every moment. His voice, translated through a small device strapped to his chest, echoed across the plaza. "I have come to deliver a message," he began, his tone serious, yet tinged with desperation. "Invading Earth is suicide." The crowd erupted into murmurs. Was this a threat? A warning? Or perhaps some twisted form of mockery? World leaders exchanged uneasy glances. Many assumed the worst, that this alien was merely a scout sent to soften them up before a full-scale invasion. But Alex and Laura knew better. Over the past few days, they had learned about Zorvath's home planet, Zillora 7, and the ruthless empire it served. This wasn't a conqueror speaking, they were certain of it. This was someone begging for help, as Zorvath continued. His words painted a grim picture. Back on his homeworld, powerful warlords planned Earth's destruction, viewing it not as a thriving civilization, but as a resource-rich prize. "They do not understand your strength," Zorvath explained. "They see only your technology, and think you weak. But I have studied you. You are different. Your will to survive, it is unmatched." Laura listened intently, her mind racing. She had always believed humans were resilient, but hearing it from an outsider gave her chills. Still, skepticism lingered among the gathered delegates. How could they trust this alien? What proof did he offer beyond his impassioned plea? Alex leaned closer to Zorvath, whispering urgently, "If we're going to convince them, we need more than words. Show us something tangible." Zorvath hesitated, then nodded. Reaching into a compartment on his belt, he pulled out a small orb-like device. With a flick of his finger, holographic images sprang to life, showing scenes of devastation. Our planets reduced to barren wastelands by the Xyloran fleet. Gasps rippled through the audience. These weren't just threats. These were real places, once vibrant and alive, now destroyed. But even with such evidence, doubt remained. President Michelle Hayes, seated near the front, narrowed her eyes. "Why? Should we believe you?" she asked bluntly. "How do we know this isn't a trick?" Zorvath met her gaze steadily. "Because if I fail, my fate will be the same as yours. And because deep down, you already know the truth. Humanity has faced extinction before and survived. My people, they cannot comprehend that kind of resolve." For a moment, silence hung heavy in the air. Then, slowly, whispers turned to discussion, and discussion turned to debate. Whether humanity chose to listen to Zorvath or dismiss him entirely. One thing was certain: Earth's future depended on the decisions made in the coming days. Document Part 2. After the tense meeting at the United Nations. Alex and Laura escorted Zorvath to a secure underground facility. The alien ambassador walked with measured steps, his glowing blue skin casting faint shadows on the sterile white walls of the corridor. His presence was both fascinating and unsettling to the guards stationed along the way, who couldn't help but stare. Despite their curiosity, no one dared speak directly to him. They all knew too much was at stake. Once inside the briefing room, Laura locked the door behind them and turned to face Zorvath. "You need to tell us everything," she said firmly. "If we're going to convince Earth's leaders to take your warning seriously, we need more than just holograms and vague promises." Zorvath nodded slowly, his large eyes reflecting a mix of exhaustion and determination. He had risked everything to come here, betraying his own people in the hope of saving this planet. Now, he owed them the truth. Sitting down at the table, he began to speak, his voice calm but tinged with urgency. "The Xyloran Empire is ruled by warlords like Commander Vrax and General Kryn," Zorvath explained. "They see conquest as their destiny. To them, every planet they encounter is either a resource to exploit or an obstacle to destroy. Earth is different. You have something they cannot comprehend: resilience." Alex leaned forward, listening intently. "Resilience? What do you mean?" Zorvath hesitated before responding. "When my people first encountered other species, they found them predictable. Most surrendered without much resistance. Others fought bravely, but ultimately fell because they lacked adaptability. But humans, during preliminary skirmishes months ago, your forces surprised us. Even when outnumbered and outgunned, you refused to give up. That kind of spirit terrifies my superiors." Laura frowned, her mind working quickly. "So why warn us now? Why not earlier?" Zorvath sighed deeply. "Because I tried. When I first voiced concerns about invading Earth, I was dismissed as weak-minded. Then, when I suggested negotiating instead of attacking, I was labeled a traitor. My family, they were taken from me as punishment." His voice cracked slightly, but he steadied himself. "I realized then that if I wanted to stop this madness, I had to act alone. So I reached out to your government secretly, hoping someone would listen." Alex exchanged a glance with Laura. Her expression mirrored his thoughts. This alien wasn't lying. There was sincerity in his words, and pain behind his glowing eyes. Still, doubt lingered. Could they fully trust him? "What happens if we ignore your warning?" Alex asked cautiously. Zorvath's gaze hardened. "Then you will suffer the same fate as countless others. Your cities will burn, your oceans will boil, your skies will fill with ash. The Xylorans won't stop until there's nothing left. And even after that, they'll move on to the next world, leaving only silence in their wake." The weight of his words hung heavy in the air. For a moment, neither Alex nor Laura spoke. Finally, Laura broke the silence. "There's something else, isn't there? Something you're not telling us?" Zorvath hesitated again, clearly debating how much to reveal. "Yes," he admitted. "The fleet approaching Earth is larger than any force they've sent before. Thousands of ships, armed with weapons capable of leveling entire continents. If you don't prepare, you won't stand a chance." Alex rubbed his temples, feeling the pressure mounting. "We have Project Resilience," he said, almost to himself. "It's not ready yet, but maybe it can buy us some time." "Project Resilience?" Zorvath asked curiously. Laura nodded. "A classified program involving AI-driven drones designed to adapt to any threat. It's still in development, but it might be our best shot." Zorvath looked thoughtful. "If you combine your technology with my knowledge of Xyloran tactics, perhaps we can strengthen your defenses. But time is running out. My people will arrive in less than 3 weeks." As the conversation continued, Alex noticed something peculiar. Zorvath seemed genuinely invested in humanity's survival, almost as though he saw potential in Earth, beyond its resources. Was it possible that this alien, cast out by his own kind, had found a new purpose among humans? For now, though, such questions would have to wait. The clock was ticking, and Earth's fate rested on whether they could work together to stave off the impending invasion. Document Part 3. The next morning, Alex and Laura led Zorvath to a top-secret research facility hidden deep within the Nevada desert. The journey there was tense, with military escorts surrounding their convoy at all times. Zorvath sat quietly in the back seat of the armored vehicle, his glowing blue skin dimmed slightly, as if he were trying to blend in. He didn't speak much during the ride, but his sharp eyes took in every detail: the barren landscape, the distant mountains, and the heavily armed soldiers guarding the perimeter. When they arrived, the group was ushered into a massive underground lab filled with humming machines and glowing screens. Scientists bustled about, some typing furiously on keyboards, while others monitored rows of sleek drones, lined up like soldiers ready for battle. At the center of it all stood Dr. Emily Ross, the lead engineer behind Project Resilience. She was a no-nonsense woman in her late 40s, with short gray hair and a permanent scowl etched onto her face. "This is what we've been working on," Laura said, gesturing toward the drones. "Project Resilience is our best shot at defending Earth." Dr. Ross stepped forward, crossing her arms. "It's not ready yet," she warned. "We're still testing the AI systems. They're designed to adapt to any threat, but without enough time to refine them. There's no guarantee they'll work against something as advanced as the Xylarans." Zorvath moved closer to examine one of the drones. It was small, but sleek, its surface covered in sensors and weapons pods. Despite its size, it radiated an aura of power. "Impressive," he murmured. "But will it be enough?" "That's why you're here," Alex replied. "We need your help to speed things up. You know how the Xylarans think. If anyone can anticipate their moves, it's you." Zorvath nodded slowly. "I'll do what I can, but time is critical. Every second we waste brings them closer." Over the next few hours, Zorvath worked closely with the team, sharing everything he knew about Xylaran technology and tactics. He explained how their ships operated, how their weapons targeted weaknesses in enemy defenses, and how their commanders prioritized efficiency over mercy. Using this information, the scientists adjusted the drones' programming, teaching them to counteract specific Xylaran strategies. As the day wore on, Alex noticed something remarkable. Zorvath wasn't just providing data, he was genuinely invested in the project. He asked questions, offered suggestions, and even tested the drones himself, using a simulator to see how they performed under pressure. His enthusiasm was contagious, and soon the entire team was working with renewed energy. Despite the progress, tension simmered beneath the surface. Some of the scientists whispered among themselves, questioning whether trusting an alien was wise. Others openly doubted Zorvath's motives, accusing him of playing both sides. Even Dr. Ross remained skeptical, keeping a wary eye on him whenever he approached the equipment. Laura noticed the growing unease and pulled Alex aside. "We need to keep everyone focused," she said quietly. "If the team starts doubting Zorvath now, we'll lose valuable time." "I know," Alex replied, glancing at Zorvath. "But trust isn't built overnight. All we can do is show them he's on our side." Later that evening, after most of the team had left for the night, Alex found Zorvath standing alone near a window overlooking the desert. The alien ambassador stared out at the horizon, where the sun was setting in fiery hues of orange and red. "Do you think we can win?" Alex asked, breaking the silence. Zorvath turned to look at him, his expression unreadable. "Winning won't be easy," he admitted, "but humans have surprised me before. If anyone can defy the odds, it's you." Alex smiled faintly. "Thanks for believing in us." Zorvath returned the smile, though it was tinged with sadness. Believing in you is the least I can do. After all, Earth may be my last hope too. As the two stood there, watching the sky darken, a sense of determination settled over them. They knew the road ahead would be difficult, but they also knew they couldn't give up, not when so much was at stake. Document, Part 4. Back at the United Nations, tensions were rising. News of the alien invasion threat had spread across the globe, and panic was beginning to take hold. Some nations argued for immediate action, urging Earth's leaders to prepare for war. Others pushed for surrender, believing that resistance against such a powerful enemy would only lead to greater destruction. The divide among world leaders grew wider with each passing day. President Michelle Hayes stood firmly in favor of fighting back. A tall woman with sharp features and an unshakable presence, she addressed the assembly with conviction. "We've faced challenges before, and we've always found a way to overcome them," she said, her voice steady but firm. "If these invaders think they can scare us into submission, they're wrong. We will defend our planet, no matter the cost." Her words inspired some, but not everyone agreed. Senator Robert Klein, a man known for his aggressive stance on military matters, spoke next. His tone was harsh and dismissive. "Forgive me, Madam President, but trusting an alien seems reckless. How do we know this Zorvath isn't manipulating us? For all we know, he could be leading us into a trap." The room erupted into murmurs as delegates leaned toward one another, debating Klein's claims. Alex and Laura watched from the sidelines, exchanging worried glances. They knew Klein's doubts weren't entirely unfounded. Trust was fragile, especially when it came to outsiders, but his skepticism threatened to derail their efforts. After the meeting ended, Alex approached President Hayes privately. "Ma'am, we need your support now more than ever," he said earnestly. "Zorvath has proven himself trustworthy. Without him, we wouldn't even know about the invasion until it was too late." Hayes nodded thoughtfully. "I believe you, Alex, but convincing others won't be easy. Fear makes people irrational, and Klein's arguments are gaining traction." Meanwhile, Laura decided to confront Klein directly. She cornered him in a quiet hallway outside the assembly room. "Senator, I understand your concerns, but undermining Zorvath's credibility isn't helping anyone," she said sharply. "If we don't act quickly, Earth won't stand a chance." Klein smirked, clearly enjoying the confrontation. "And what if he's lying? What if he's using us to weaken his own enemies? You're putting a lot of faith in someone who doesn't belong here." Laura clenched her fists, but forced herself to stay calm. "He's risking his life to help us. That has to count for something." Klein shrugged. "Faith won't save us, Dr. Bennett. Strength will. And right now, I'm not convinced allying with an alien is the strongest move." As the days passed, the disagreements spilled into public view. News outlets picked up on the debate, airing heated interviews and opinion pieces. Protests broke out in major cities, with some groups demanding unity, while others called for surrender. The chaos weighed heavily on Alex and Laura, who struggled to keep the focus on preparing for the invasion. Amidst the turmoil, Zorvath remained patient. He understood humanity's fears and didn't blame them for doubting him. Still, the lack of trust stung. One evening, as he sat alone in his quarters, he replayed memories of his homeworld, the lush forests, the vibrant cities, and the family he'd lost because of his decision to side with Earth. Tears welled up in his large eyes, but he blinked them away. There was no time for regret. The following morning, Alex visited Zorvath to check on him. "How are you holding up?" he asked gently. Zorvath sighed. "I expected resistance, but I didn't realize how deeply fear could divide people. It's disheartening." Alex placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Don't give up on us yet. We're stronger than we seem. Once people see what we're capable of, they'll come around." Zorvath managed a small smile. Let's hope so. Because if we don't unite soon, Earth's fate will be sealed. As they prepared for the days ahead, one thing became clear. Time was running out, and the fractures within humanity's ranks might prove just as dangerous as the Xyloran fleet, looming closer with each passing hour. Document. Part 5. Late one night, Alex sat with Zorvath in a dimly lit room at the research facility. The hum of machines filled the air, but the mood between them was heavy with unspoken thoughts. Alex had been curious about Zorvath's past ever since they met, and now seemed like the right time to ask. "You've told us about your people and their plans," he began cautiously. "But what about you? Why did you decide to help us?" Zorvath hesitated, his large eyes gazing into the distance as if searching for answers in the shadows. Finally, he spoke. "I wasn't always like this," he said softly. "Once, I believed in my people's mission to expand our empire, to conquer new worlds. But then I saw what that truly meant." He paused, taking a deep breath before continuing. "Years ago, I was part of a fleet sent to invade a peaceful planet called Lyrian 3. Its people were farmers, artists, dreamers no match for our weapons. When we arrived, they tried to negotiate. They offered us resources, trade, anything to avoid bloodshed. But our commanders, they didn't care. They gave the order to attack." Zorvath's voice cracked slightly, and Alex noticed his hands trembling. "I watched entire cities burn, families torn apart, children screaming for parents who would never return. I tried to tell myself it was necessary, that survival demanded sacrifice, but deep down, I knew it was wrong." Alex listened, silently, struck by the pain in Zorvath's words. He had seen war before, but hearing about it from someone on the other side made it feel different somehow. "When I spoke out against the invasion," Zorvath continued, "they labeled me a traitor, my wife and daughter. They took them away, as punishment. I haven't seen them since." His glowing blue skin dimmed, as if reflecting the weight of his sorrow. "That's when I realized I couldn't stay silent anymore. If I could save even one world from suffering the same fate, it would be worth it." Moved by Zorvath's story, Alex decided to share something personal in return. "When I was younger," he said, "I lost my brother in a car accident. It changed me, made me realize how fragile life is. That's why I do what I do now, to protect others, to make sure no one else feels that kind of loss." For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Zorvath looked at Alex, his expression softening. "Perhaps that's why I trust you," he said. "You understand loss. You know what it means to fight for something greater than yourself." The next day, Alex arranged for Zorvath to use a neural interface device, designed to share memories and experiences directly with another person. It was risky, but Alex believed seeing Zorvath's past firsthand might help convince skeptics, like Senator Klein. With Laura's approval, they set up the experiment in a private lab. As Zorvath connected the interface to his temple, Alex prepared himself mentally. The machine whirred to life, and suddenly, Alex was no longer in the lab. He stood on a battlefield bathed in smoke and fire. Around him, alien soldiers advanced, their weapons cutting down defenseless civilians. The cries of the dying echoed in his ears, and he felt a surge of anger and despair. Then the scene shifted. He saw Zorvath standing alone, pleading with his superiors to stop the attack. Their cold, dismissive responses chilled him to the bone. Finally, he witnessed the moment Zorvath's family was taken away, his wife shouting his name as guards dragged her off. When the connection ended, Alex stumbled, back overwhelmed by what he'd experienced. Tears streamed down his face as he turned to Zorvath. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I had no idea." Zorvath nodded solemnly. "Now you do, and now you can show others. Maybe then they'll understand why we must fight not just for Earth, but for every world that deserves a chance to live free." With renewed determination, Alex vowed to share Zorvath's story with those who doubted him. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but if it helped unite humanity against the coming threat, it would be worth it.